We have decided to reduce emissions from 30% in 2020 and 80 to 95% in 2050, and therefore we have adopted a law in the Walloon region which organized the decrease from now to 2020 and 2050, which organized also a monitoring of the emissions, and which is associated with a plan of actions in each sector so that the reducing is possible and we can reach that target.
I mean, 30% by 2020, more or less 10% more than the European Union is asking for. 85 to 90% by 2050 is a very ambitious program. It's the kind of ambition that many people here are asking for. Is it achievable? Is it doable? And how are you going to go about it?
Yes, it's possible because we have made different scenarios. We have studied the technical possibilities in each sector. We have then discussed them with the different actors, with the administration, with the industry and so on, civilian associations. And we have now to make different choices, but it's possible to realize it. And I think it's absolutely necessary, even if it's very ambitious as a target, that industrial countries adopt such targets to also give signs that it's possible and that we want to make it.
I mean, I guess it's kind of easy for a government to say 85, 90%, but I guess it doesn't work unless industry, unless civil society are cooperating with you. What's the response been like so far, especially from industry in the Walloon district that you're working in? Are they enthusiastic? Are they going to cooperate?
Yeah, yes, they are enthusiastic because for the industry it's also a mean of being more efficient tomorrow, to earn more money, to being more efficient on the market. So it's necessary also for them. I think the most difficult part it is the transport, because it means changing our behaviors of everybody in the society. That's more difficult than changing the industry's behavior, I think.
What do you mean by changing transport? What kind of measures are you trying to implement?
That means we have to use more common transport. That it's also possible to use, for example, bicycles to go on foot instead of using the cars. But also for transporting things, it's possible to use the train or the boat, or even to use and consume products that come from much near where you consume them and where you produce them. So it's necessary to have less trucks and cars on the roads, and it's possible.
Okay, so you're doing all this work at home in the Walloon area. You've also got a project to help 7 developing countries, mostly in Africa. Tell me about that. Tell me the kind of work you're doing there.
Yes, it's in the Fast Start program. We have, since Copenhagen and Durban, we have decided to help the countries in the south that have now already to manage the climate change, that have consequences now on their country, on their population. So we have organized a competition between projects which can be a candidate, and we have chosen 7 different projects in countries, and mainly African countries, to help them develop those projects. This is nearly 8 million euros that are used therefore by the Walloon government, and that is for helping, for example, developing certain system for renewable energy productions, or helping to have some people to I don't find the word anymore, to cook. I will say it again if you want.
Yes.
So for helping, for example, the families to cook their food using less wood, so it's possible to, it's then an economy for them, but it's also less emissions. And it's not a very big cost, but it's necessary to help them being able to realize it.
And finally, I mean, we're coming towards the end of the 2 weeks of negotiations here in Doha. What is it you, the Belgian government, the Walloon area of Belgium, would like to see out of these negotiations to make your work at home easier and the climate change projects in the south, in the developing countries, easier?
Of course, our big hope is to have an agreement on the international level. We know it's very slow to have decisions. Each year we hope to go further, and the steps are very little because it's very urgent to have solutions at the international level. So we hope to have, of course, a decision on the Kyoto Protocol, to have a second phase of engagement. That is the most important to decide this year, and also to have already steps realized to go to an international agreement, certainly in 2 years from now. It's really urgent to have that, to being able to manage the climate problem.